On my 70th birthday, as the clock ticked past noon and the house echoed with silence, my daughter Sarah called. Her voice was sharp, like a knife slicing through the quiet. Mom, don't expect a party. We're too busy with the kids and work. Just celebrate alone, okay? Those words hit me like a slap, cold and final. But little did she know, that was the day I decided to rewrite my story, not with tears, but with steel in my spine. What I did next changed everything. And if you've ever felt taken for granted by those you love most, you won't believe how I found my freedom. Stick around. This tale of betrayal and quiet revenge might just save you from the same heartache. I remember that morning vividly. The way the winter sun filtered through the frost-laced windows of my old Victorian home in Boston, casting long shadows across the worn oak floors. I had woken early, as I always do, my joints aching from the cold that seeped in through the cracks. 70 years old, and there I was, shuffling to the kitchen in my faded blue robe, the one with the frayed hem from years of wear. The smell of fresh coffee brewing filled the air, bitter and comforting, a ritual I'd clung to since my husband passed a decade ago. I poured a cup, steam rising like forgotten dreams, and sat at the scarred wooden table, staring at the calendar where I'd circled today's date in red ink. A birthday. My birthday. But no cards arrived in the mail, no flowers from the florist down the street. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the distant bark of the neighbor's dog. I sighed, setting the cup down with a soft clink, and began folding the laundry I'd washed the night before. Sarah's old baby blankets mixed in with my towels, soft and threadbare from countless hugs and spills. As I smoothed out the wrinkles, my mind wandered back to those early days when sacrifice was my second name. Oh, how I poured my heart into raising Sarah. I was just 25 when she came into the world, a tiny bundle with my eyes and her father's smile. We weren't rich, far from it. My job at the local library barely covered the bills, but I made do. I remember skipping meals so she could have dance lessons, her little tutu swirling like a dream under the fluorescent lights of the community center. "Mommy, watch me twirl," she'd squeal, and I'd clap until my hand stung, ignoring the growl in my stomach. When her father left us for that younger woman in '85, I worked double shifts, coming home with feet blistered from standing just to keep the roof over our heads. I sold my grandmother's pearl necklace, the one with the delicate clasp that symbolized our family's enduring love, to pay for Sarah's college tuition. "You'll make something of yourself, darling," I'd whisper as I tucked her in, even as exhaustion pulled at my bones. Those memories flooded me now, warm like sunlight on skin, but tainted with the sting of what came later. Sarah grew up, married Tom, that ambitious lawyer with his polished shoes and empty smiles. They moved into a big house in the suburbs, and slowly the calls dwindled. "We're busy, Mom," became her mantra, a shield against my loneliness. But the betrayal didn't stop at forgotten calls. It crept in like ivy choking a garden. It started small, Sarah asking for loans that never got repaid. "Just this once, Mom, for the down payment on our new car." I handed over my savings, check after check, watching my nest egg shrink like melting snow. Then came the holidays, where I'd slave over the stove, the aroma of roasted turkey and cinnamon pies filling the house, only for them to arrive late, complain about the food being too salty, and leave early. "The kids are tired," Tom would say, his voice dripping with condescension, while Sarah avoided my eyes. One Christmas, I overheard her whispering to him in the hallway, "She's getting old, Tom. We can't keep dragging her along." Dragging me along? Me, who had babysat their children for free, changing diapers and singing lullabies until my voice cracked? The pain twisted in my chest like a broken bowl, shards scattering, each one a fragment of our shattered bond. And the gaslighting? Oh, it was masterful. "You're being dramatic, Mom," Sarah would say when I'd gently ask why they never visited. "We have lives, you know. You should be grateful we call at all." Grateful. The word echoed in my mind, hollow and cruel, as I gardened alone in the backyard, the earth cold under my knees, pulling weeds that mirrored the resentment growing in my heart. That birthday call was the final crack. As Sarah's words hung in the air, "Don't expect a party," I felt something shift inside me, like a key turning in a rusty lock. Enough. Enough of the endless giving. The unappreciated love poured into a bottomless well. I sat there, the phone still warm in my hand, and realized the truth I'd buried for years. I had built my life around them, but they had built walls around me. My inner voice, long silenced, rose clear and calm. No more. I deserved dignity, boundaries that protected my weary soul. That afternoon, I moved with quiet purpose. First, I called my lawyer, Mr. Hargrove, his voice steady on the line as I instructed him to revise my will. Sarah and Tom, removed entirely. The house, my savings, all going to the local shelter for abandoned elders, a place I'd volunteered at, knowing the sting of isolation all too well. Next, I canceled the life insurance policy where Sarah was the beneficiary, the papers rustling like dry leaves as I signed. I changed the locks on the doors, the new keys gleaming in my palm, a symbol of reclaimed control. And finally, I packed a small suitcase, the zippers rasp echoing my resolve, and booked a ticket to the coast, where the ocean waves could wash away the years of hurt. Silent actions, no fanfare, but each one a step toward empowerment, shocking in their simplicity, yet justified by the decades of neglect. Of course, they came storming back when they found out. It was 2 days later, the snow falling softly outside as Sarah pounded on the door, her face flushed with anger through the peephole. "Mom, open up. What the hell have you done?" she yelled, Tom hovering behind her like a shadow. I opened the door just a crack, the chain latch firm. "You've cut us out? After everything we've done for you," she spat, her words twisting like manipulation's blade. "You're being selfish. We need that money, the kids' college, the house payments. How could you?" Tom chimed in, "This is elder abuse, you know. We'll fight this." Begging turned to blame in an instant, their voices rising like a storm. But I stood tall, my voice steady, cold as the winter air. "You've had enough from me. It's my turn now." I closed the door softly, the click final, their protests fading into the night. In the weeks that followed, peace settled over me like a warm blanket. I moved to a small cottage by the sea in Maine, where the waves crashed rhythmically against the shore, each one whispering of renewal. Mornings, I'd walk the beach, the sand gritty under my feet, collecting shells that gleamed like forgotten treasures, symbols of the beauty I'd rediscovered in solitude. The house back in Boston sold quickly, the proceeds funding my quiet life, books from the library, tea with new friends who valued my stories, a garden blooming with roses that no longer wilted under neglect. Loneliness? It visited, but dignity chased it away. I learned that karma isn't always thunderous. Sometimes it's the gentle tide pulling back what was never truly given. And the lesson, dear listener? Hold your heart close. Set boundaries like sturdy fences and let go when love turns to chains. For in reclaiming yourself, you find the greatest gift of all, freedom.